On time now for some analysis on some of the stories of the week. Now, former President Jacob Zuma will return to the State Capture Commission of Inquiry this morning. Since the start of his testimony on Monday, Zuma's lawyers have lodged numerous objections about the manner in which he was being questioned. They also claim that the former president was brought to the commission under false pretences. And joining us now from Polokwane is political analyst Levy Ndou. Levy, thanks so much for speaking to us this morning. So let's just jump right in. Now, after 2.5 days on the stand, Zuma's lawyers cried foul, and they had been. I think when they started, you could already see that there would be some tension as this week unfolded. What did you make of how it all started and how it eventually fizzled out to where we are now?
Good morning, Sakina. Good morning to the viewers at home. For me, the commission started very, very well, especially when former President Zuma was given an opportunity, to make his opening remarks. And I remember very, very well the issues that he touched on. He touched on the political history of what has been going on in his life, his relationship with some of the comrades within the ANC, and how he actually felt that there are certain individuals within the ANC, and especially in the leadership, who wanted him to be isolated or to be removed. He spoke about the threats to his life and those that never wanted him to occupy any senior position in the party. And for me, the intention of the story had two purposes. First purpose was to ensure that he actually takes out what he has been boiling in his mind for the past 2 decades. But also at the same time, for me, he wanted to bring a narrative to say that I've been a victim for a very, very long time, because there are people that for some time always did not want me to be in the leadership of the ANC, and also did not want to see me running or occupying senior positions in the country. So, lastly, I saw a person who is trying to say, all these years, based on what he has actually alluded, I'm a victim of a plot to remove me, or there are certain individuals indeed who are still pursuing a plan to ensure that I don't succeed as an individual or as a leader of the ANC.
So let's turn our attention for a moment to the commission itself and the processes and procedures as they have unfolded. So we saw Zuma coming in with his legal team, and I kind of got the impression that from the very onset, the commission was somewhat on the back foot, because they raised some objections with regard to how the president came to be at the commission. What was your take on that?
Well, I listened very carefully to those proceedings. But the issue at hand here is that there is one central person that we need to get his side of the story. And that person is former President Zuma. Remember, most of the issues that are being raised in the commission centered around him, and whether there is a way for him to be asked questions, or whether questions should be written on a piece of paper, or he should be asked questions verbally, cannot be a primary factor. For me, what is very primary is for all of us to hear his side of the story in relation to the critical issues that are meant to assist the commission to move forward. And in most instances, what I've observed is that former President Zuma has a clear understanding and knowledge of what has happened in relation to things that were done against him. But he does not seem to be having an understanding or knowledge of the things that he has done or participated that has a potential to assist the commission to move forward. And that is where I think where the problems comes in. I expected this team to come with this kind of concerns, because I think they want to avoid a situation where President Zuma might then be put in a corner, and then he's then forced to actually provide some of the information that they actually do not want him to provide.
Levy, given the testimony that we've heard to date at the State Capture Commission of Inquiry, has there been any evidence that has been put before the Commission that could actually lead to a situation where the former president can be pushed into a corner? In other words, has there been any smoking gun where he is directly implicated?
We have had information from a number of individuals that came to the Commission earlier. And these are the people who says, I got a call from the president. He wanted me to do the following. I went to a house, the president was there, and I was offered a job. And there is something that is very important to all of us, is that some of the issues that might have happened could not have some concrete evidence, because I will always put an emphasis that when people are embarking on activities that are illegal, they've got a very, very good way of covering their trails. And that is one thing that should have happened. When people are meeting to have a discussion on a corrupt transaction, they would not have a secretary to sit down and take notes. And in some instances, people will just say, let's have a discussion over tea, and please do the following. And that is exactly what in most instances would happen. But one should not quickly conclude that on the basis of the hype surrounding President Zuma, we should all just conclude that indeed President Zuma is corrupt. What should then happen is that the Commission should develop better strategies to ensure that the truth at the end of the day has to come out, and those that are implicated should actually be known to all of us.
So let's look at where we are right now at this commission. If the former president goes back today and decides against, testifying any further at this particular commission, what are some of the implications of that act?
Well, I think what is important is that his legal team has actually won, in the sense that they raised issues that relates to the manner in which he's being questioned. And they've been granted a permission to still go and consult in terms of how questions are supposed to be raised. What then is our expectation will be whether the team of the legal team of the Commission has actually acceded to the requests or the demands from the other legal team, or as to whether the Commission legal team is actually going to say, no, you are actually not supposed to prescribe to us. We actually have be the ones who are supposed to lead in terms of what is supposed to happen in the Commission. But another critical aspect is that this Commission was established by former President Zuma himself. And what one would expect from him and his team will be maximum cooperation, because I think he is aware of what is at stake, and is also aware of what the general public has been raising in relation to matters related to the work of this Commission. So I would expect maximum cooperation, so that at the end of the day, everybody else has to know what exactly transpired on matters relating to the work of this Commission.
But surely he's not going to implicate himself or say anything that could be detrimental to him further down the line. But I just want to ask two quick fire questions in the interest of time, Levy, because we're coming into news time. Firstly, what are your thoughts on the line of questioning that Zuma's legal team has objected to? And secondly, the appearance of the ANC Secretary General Ace Magashule in support of former President Jacob Zuma. What are the ramifications that could flow from that?
Thank you very much. The manner of questioning, for me, has got one objective. The objective is to try its best to get onto the bottom of what has actually happened. They want to get the truth. And unfortunately, it is being received differently on the other side. But unfortunately, when you have to get the truth, you need to ask certain questions, whether the person who has to answer those questions is comfortable or not. The presence of Esma Khashule there never came as a surprise to me. After President Zuma appeared on the first day on Monday, I saw a lot of people that were standing on the stage when President Zuma had to address the crowds. The only person missing there for me was Secretary General Esma Khashule. And for me, I see a regroup of certain individuals within the ANC that did not support the presidency of Cyril Ramaphosa. And that says to me that these individuals are regrouping, and the plot that was spoken about the meeting that took place somewhere in Durban in a hotel might then become a reality. And these people are coming back to ensure that they actually reclaim power to themselves from the current leadership of the ANC.
Well, thank you so much, Levy Ndou, political analyst, just looking at some of what transpired at the State Capture Commission of Inquiry this week. Time now for the latest news. Leanne standing by.